Hello and welcome to day 5 of the Wellbeing Essentials. Love the process. Now, over the last few days we've been speaking about some pretty deep issues. We've been speaking about awareness, identity, values, strengths, priorities, behaviours, and we're going to continue that today by talking about your goals, but we're going to talk about them from a slightly deeper and more introspective point of view. Now, as I mentioned in the introduction very briefly, our ultimate destination is the same, okay? We're all going to end up in the same lifeless state, and we have absolutely no control over that, okay? The only guarantee in life, right? But there are going to be lots of other destinations that you are going to consider throughout your lifetime. And when I say consider, what I mean is focus on really heavily and dream about repeatedly. For instance, think about a physical destination like a holiday or travel. Okay, we book these things months in advance and then we focus on them for the whole time leading up to it. But you're also going to have things like career-orientated destinations, relationship destinations, financial destinations, emotional destinations. They form a really important part of our lives. But in my experience and from what I've learned, these destinations tend to lead to two things. Firstly, we reach them and then we enjoy them, but only for a fairly short period of time, and then we forget about them and move on to the next. Or we don't reach them and then we continue to obsess about them forevermore. So in the long run, destinations actually aren't that rewarding, and despite that we continue to focus on them. Think about what I've asked you to do over the last few days. I've asked you to think about what it is you want to achieve, where you want to be. That's a destination. In the health and fitness industry, we use destinations a lot for goals and motivations. And I think that's only natural. There's no doubt that destinations are incredibly motivating. They create the desire that we need to move ourselves and to progress from one place to the next. But the gain that we get from them is short term, and they are an external factor, and we cannot control external factors. We can't control them in any guise. We can't control our external challenges, commitments, motivations, influences. And I hate to tell you this, but I need to be honest. You cannot control whether you lose weight. Okay, you can't control whether you get that six-pack that you want or whether you get those huge chest muscles that you're after. Regular exercise, compliant nutrition, effective rest and recovery, these things all make it much more likely, but you cannot control arrival at a destination. Okay, and as a result, external factors and destinations are not good motivators or goals for us in the long run. Now, science shows us that much more effective ways to look at motivations and goals are to start looking at the journey as opposed to the destination, and to look at intrinsic and internal factors as opposed to external factors. So what does this mean exactly? Well, it means that if we're going to really succeed, if you're going to succeed and get to where you want to be, then rather than thinking about the weight that you want to achieve, you start thinking about the process of getting there. Okay, process rather than outcome. This is journey as opposed to destination. Okay, we need to think about intrinsic factors rather than extrinsic factors, because these things you've got control over. You have not got control over the external factors in your life. And we also need to think about effort as opposed to reward. Reward is like a destination. We can't control it. What you can control is the amount of effort that you put in to get there. Now, all of these things lead to what we call an internal locus of control. So rather than you relying on these external factors and feedback and influences, you are in charge. So you will set a goal that you have control over, and you decide whether or not you complete that goal. Okay, and this has a huge impact on your long-term success. Now, if you can think back to day 2 when we spoke about the importance of self-awareness, we said that awareness is dependent on a number of things like observation, honesty, reflection, analysis, intelligent interpretation of results. All of these require significant internal processing, okay, and they allow you to build a greater awareness of your thoughts and your feelings and your behaviours. And this whole process, this self-awareness process and everything involved in it, really forces you to become engaged in your own journey. Okay, and this engagement in your journey is what will actually lead to your long-term success. Process-based goals and internal motivations will help you now, but they will more importantly help you in the long run. Okay, they'll get you where you want to be, but they will ensure that you maintain that for the rest of your journey. Okay, what does that all mean for us here and now? It means that you need to embrace your internal journey. It means you need to start thinking about your goals in terms of all of these factors. And to help you put that into perspective and into practice, you've got another task to do today. And that task is to go back to that long-term goal that you wrote down yesterday, and you're going to break it down into small, manageable chunks, small, manageable actions. And they're all going to be based on the process and internal factors. So rather than talking about the fact you want to achieve a certain weight, you're going to talk about a daily thing like completing an activity 3, 4, 5 times a week. You're going to think about eating a healthy meal once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day. You're going to think about allowing yourself effective rest and recovery. Every day ideally, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever you can afford. Now the actual detail of these, we're going to cover that in a few days' time, but start to think about it and allow them to reflect this reinforced fishbowl that we spoke about yesterday. We want these behaviours to be incongruent and in alignment with who you are and what really matters to you. We want them to embrace your strengths. Now, when you get this stuff right, in time, it means that these small manageable behaviours and actions will lead to a successful well-being journey, and they will lead to sustainable health and happiness. If you embrace your internal journey and you trust the results will come, then they will come. So long as your behaviours and your choices reflect everything within your reinforced fishbowl, and you will do that so long as you stick to everything that we've discussed over the last few days. Okay, there you go, the end of day 5. It's been emotional, and it has been. It's been pretty deep and pretty emotional, but that's because this stuff is really important. This stuff is the key, and to be honest, if you can get this right, then the rest of it's pretty straightforward. Now, tomorrow we're going to finish the psychological component of this course by discussing how important it is to love yourself, which essentially means look after yourself throughout the journey, but also when the going gets tough, which inevitably happens as you're going through this lifelong journey of well-being. Okay, any questions, reflections in the meantime, by all means get in touch, but otherwise I shall see you tomorrow. Take care, guys.